Good, man. What's up, man? I'm done. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's like Kate's It's super weird. Oh my god.
It's kind of like, I mean,
yes.
Just reminding me of that.
kind of just like seeing what I really like to happen.
Trip anticipation.
Because I've kind of learned a lot about what's been going on and what happened in the past. But what I really like to happen is the chance to spend more time with the people, the families. He's barely been places.
Okay, rolling. It's recording.
Hi, my name is Ryan Kranz, and on this trip, I don't really know what to expect or what to learn. I just kind of go in to learn anything, really.
The purpose of the trip really is to allow our students to kind of witness the reality of El Salvador, which is an extraordinary combination of kind of suffering, hope, faith, in the midst of circumstances that seem to be daunting, the poverty, the assassination of really important leadership for the poor, all these things that I think would discourage and frustrate and just really drain most people. The Salvadorans seem to maintain their faith and hope that it will be better, and it's really the best of humanity that we come to witness.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to San Salvador.
A los soldados que no obedecieran la ley del hombre que les decía, ¿verdad? Que matara a sus...
They say that one of the other reasons that influenced his assassination was that days before his assassination, he, in the homily during the mass, he called on the soldiers, and he actually begged the soldiers to ignore man's law and the orders of their commanders, and to obey God's law, which is not to kill.
Sino que obedecieran la voz de Dios, ¿verdad? Que ante la ley del hombre o los soldados que les mandaban a matar
the word of God, the voice of God, and to not carry out the orders to kill their own people. And one of the things that he talked about was the fact that he saw the war not as a war between the rich and the poor, but a war between poor people. So it's poor people on both sides killing each other.
Se dice de que hasta la misma gente de la misma iglesia no comulgaba con los
This is Oscar Romero's house. This now is a historical museum.
We've already read about Archbishop Romero. He's just one among many, 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 and you will meet some wonderful, wonderful people, generous and all that. And we also have very great cruelty, so we're morally polarized as well. We'd say, how can it be possible that people, would be allowed to suffer so much? We would not give them education, health care. I wish that, I hope that you'll have a really great stay. It's so important you're here. You may never come back here again. But this will change you. And that means that you're part of the growing and burgeoning movement of international solidarity. And why is that important? If things don't change up there in the US, they're not going to change down here. But we're really...
So that's this particular section here. These are garments that he was killed in.
You know, documenting this stuff was very important because if you didn't keep pictures and clothing, the government would simply deny that these kinds of things happen. So it's not some sort of morbid kind of thing. It's the way they say, look, this is what happened. And also to sort of bring honor to the people who gave their lives. We're right in this hallway here. The two women that were killed, their rooms are right down here, and the Jesuits lived in this building here, so they were taken out of their rooms and killed and brought to this lawn out here. But this is their clothing. You've seen pictures, I think, in the film that we saw, showed pictures of them in the garden. The problem was when they started revealing the historic reality of El Salvador, the truth was that most of the atrocities and murders were caused by the government, and as that message came out, they became more of a threat to the government, and that's why the government eventually decided that they should be killed. They were threatened many times. They figured they might leave because the Jesuits were not Salvadoran, they're Spanish Basque priests. So it was thought that, well, you know, if we just put enough pressure on these guys, they'll leave. And, you know, like the missionary women, you know, in Haiti, who were faced with the same choice, they stayed. So that's, to me, like a fundamental question. Why would people who have no real roots here come here and be so affected by the reality here that they would knowingly stay when it probably meant they would eventually be killed? What is it that calls people to that level of commitment, and where do we find that in our futures? Is that kind of commitment in our futures? I mean, I think that's a really neat question.
The thing that really struck me is something that Dean said. He said that El Salvador was like an average country in the world. Before I came here, I always thought it was like one of the poorer countries, and I was going to be visiting like this kind of poverty-struck country, and then it hit me that most of the countries in the world are poverty-struck. It's kind of mind-boggling that what we're viewing right here is what is present in like most of the world.
With the way that Veronica and the nun at Oscar Romero's palace were speaking so like highly of him. I mean, they were talking about him as if he was like their own father, and I thought that like someone that they didn't even know or they haven't met, and they still had like that amount of respect for him. I thought that was truly amazing. So like, I don't know, I just think it's kind of cool that one person can have like that sort of impact on an entire country, and I just think that's pretty cool.
Qué bonito.